Wow, it is 10 a.m. Good morning. I hope you're all doing well. I said I hope you're all doing well. Do I need to speak up? Okay, well, I can get this thing closer. Old people. You know, the good thing about old people, too, is I am now one, too. For the ones that don't know, I just turned 65 a couple of days ago. So I am now, I'm ready, official. I can retire, I can move in, I can do it all. Here's a bad thing. I have no idea. My wife made this PowerPoint behind me. I think she did this to kind of piss me off because she took a picture of Prince and photoshopped it with herself, right? So I don't think that is right? No, but that is the running joke in our family at one time or another. When I was younger, not anymore, obviously. I did look like him a lot. So anybody that has access to my Facebook, just take a look at it. There are really some pictures that side by side, him and I. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, so I have the luxury of still being with you all. Yeah, it's a little bit about myself, and my name is actually Achim. Achim. So you all read that up in my bio, right? Don't try it. You know, it's really hard. But you all know that I go by anything, to including Prince. So, yes, a little bit about myself, and I have the fortune that my entire team is here, except for one that is currently on long-time FMLA, and one that we haven't replaced DC for, but that we'll go into that a little bit later. So, a little bit about myself. This is my mom's side. So if you look at the lovely woman with the blonde hair, that was my mom young, and right next to her is Atney, which is my dad's sister. Next to that is my grandfather that I never met because he was fighting in the Second World War against the Russians as a German. So, yeah, I'm sorry. But next to that is my grandmother that's holding me. Oh my God, I didn't look like Prince then. I know that. With my older brother, and he's still older than I. So, and then right below is my grandmother with my brother trying to be. I think it's some sort of musician. What is it? I can't see. But with myself again, and then next to that you see my uncle, my aunt or her sister, and my grandmother that I fortunately got to meet. Again, I was born in February 4th, 61. Here's my dad's side. Little to the right is my dad's mom. I never got to meet her. He was born in Barbados. In the middle is my dad. To the left of it is my dad's father. I didn't get to meet him, unfortunately. But my dad on the bottom, yeah. That's where I got everything from, I guess. He was a great man. Loved to garden. Oh, that's not me. But he loved to cook. Oh, wow. And he was able to cook. He was a great guy. So, me, born here, Boston, Massachusetts. That's the big city, right? Nobody knows where Shirley Air is, or Fort Devens. But moved back to Germany when my dad got relocated back to Germany in the early 60s, so 63, 64. I was too young to remember, obviously. But he worked then for AFIS and lived in Frankfurt, moved around Germany a lot, finally ended up in Heidelberg, and that's where we basically all grew up. I went to German kindergarten, so my first language is Deutsch, ja, ich spreche viel Deutsch. so it is German. Grew up in Heidelberg, went to German college, high school, college, and then decided I needed to do something with my life. So I went to college as a photographer in marketing and advertising, so I have an advertising degree. Never really did anything up with that other than being a photographer. Did pictures for advertising in catalogs like jewelry photography and things like that. You can have a seat right there. He's the last one. So, you know, after just doing this for a short period of time, you know, young people don't listen to their parents. Right? Yeah. Mom said, don't do that. That is not a job you're going to like. It doesn't pay the bills. Didn't listen to mom. So then I decided I need to do something else. Ended up with APHIS. Everybody knows that, right? It used to be called, what? In the early 60s, what was it? EES, right? European Exchange Service. Before it turned into APHIS. And I really give age away. So then, after I worked for APHIS for a while, that was great. Went to a college. Went to the APHIS Management Training Center in the Kleber Kaserne in Kaiserslautern. Anybody knows K-Town? Maybe some of you have been stationed there, so you maybe remember that. After doing that, managed the Audio Photo Center in Heidelberg, moved around a little bit. Again, was not my cup of tea. When you're young, you just change so much. So decided I needed to do something different, and different was food, and that was my calling, fortunately. Had a great friend that took me under his wings and said, you know, I'm going to teach you everything about food. Became an NCO club manager in Germersheim. Some of you been stationed there? No? Between Heidelberg and Karlsruhe. Did Neurot. I was in Heidelberg at the Officers Club. I was in Karlsruhe at the Fidelity Club. Eventually got transferred, or volunteered to transfer to go to Neu-Ulm. That was the last one. That was closer to 1991. And stayed there for a while. Was the club manager. Had a good time. Well, then I guess the speech was tear down that wall, right? And they did, and things started to change for a lot of Americans, right? The people got sent back to the United States. I was a German hire, so I had no rights for employment. So the only choice I had was to find another job. But since I now gave up my status of forces agreement stamp in my passport, and you all know what that is, that took away the rights for me to be in Germany without a passport, without a work or visa, right? You can't be there. You have no rights. So I could apply for, even though I grew up there, right? Went to German high school, German college, and I had no rights to be there, so the choice was ask for a work permit and a staying permit in Germany or do something different. The different was my brother was stationed here in San Antonio, and I was like, this is a calling. I called him up, and he says, yeah, come on over. I was married for 1 year. We had a child, Christoph. Now my oldest, 36, and guess what? He lives back in Germany. Can't help him, right? Don't want to listen to the parents, but he lives there. And we came over here, and then that's where the bottom part of this starts, right? I was a clubhouse manager of the San Antonio Country Club. After that, that's maybe different. That Melody Ranch Steakhouse should have been above Crystal Baking. I was a VP for Melody Ranch Steakhouse. We opened 10 restaurants. all through southern part, Texas, Oklahoma, one in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the gentleman Arturo Torres was not any, unfortunately not with us. Marco's godfather, and he on his deathbed sold me a crystal baking company for $1. Yeah. Oh, that only means I got the building and also the lease and the debt. But I got the business, right? So we ran that for 5 years until unfortunately 9/11, and then I couldn't keep it going at 9/11. Nobody wanted to go out for dinner. Gordon will tell you a $13,000 mortgage a month is hard sustainable when you don't have income, right? So decided I need to do something different. So sold the building, sold it to my neighbor, which was Famosa Garden, and I moved on. Went to Landry's. Tingled was a consultant for like 3 restaurants here in town. It's not a good thing that all 3 are closed. So maybe bad consultants, or I don't know. Nevertheless, they not all of them wanted to listen to me. So, but they went away. I ended up Landry's. A gentleman at Landry's said, "Hey, I work part-time for a place called the AT&T Center. They're always looking for great people." I'm like, "Okay, what do they do? We'll just go there." So I went there, and that was the craziest story. Went there, interviewed with Roy Rodriguez. How funny, right? So Roy interviewed me and said, "Man, you're great. I'd like to have you." I'm like, "Good." So I started working there, and I met Roy's boss. And Roy's boss said, "Hey, I have the VP of the company coming by. I'm going to introduce you." All this happened within like 3 weeks. So I met the VP, and some people know him, right? That were obviously with Levy before. His name is Robert Wood. He saw me in the hallway, says, "Hey, I heard a lot about you. This is a true conversation. I heard a lot about you. How would you like to become the Assistant Director of Operations in Kansas City?" That was the whole conversation. And I'm like, wow, great, sure, I'll do this. I have not left San Antonio since we came here in '91. So I'm now telling my wife, "Hey, guess what, honey? Pack up your stuff, we're moving." So we're going to Kansas City. Little did I know that has German weather. And one thing that I try to run away from, right? I was like, oh my God. So we went to Kansas City. Was there in Kansas City in 2006, 2007. Unfortunately, my dad was doing really well. Well, not well. My brother was in town, moved him, took him to Kansas City, and not long after that, he passed away there. My mom's like, "I want to come back to San Antonio. I don't want to live here. It's bad memories." What do you do, right? I enjoyed working for the Chiefs. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But it wasn't about me, right? It was about family. So I said, "No, we're gonna do what's right for the family," and we moved back to San Antonio. Even with the chance that I would not work for Compass, Levy, I said to them, "Listen, if you don't have a job for me, I'll find something else. I've obviously done quite a bit of things, and I can do something else." Fortunately, Levy was gracious, and they said, "No, you did a great job here. We love you. We want you to come back." A lot of it came actually directly from the Spurs, because I really made good friends with the VP and Lori Warren, which is the chief financial officer, and a couple of those other people, and they took me back, and I stayed there until I arrived here in 2017. I had a great time during that time. Working for the Spurs gave me great opportunities, lots of experience. Went into the U.S. Open in New York, if you all know tennis, right? I know that DC can talk more about it because he did more support events than I, but I went to 7 NBA finals, made friends with the commissioner, Adam Silver, so I actually personally worked for him during an NBA finals. The last one was the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. I think that's 2 years ago or 3 years ago. What? 3 years ago? So that was the last time I went to work for Adam. Had a good time. It was really, really great. But home is here. I feel this is like this full circle step. I'm here. This is where I need to be. I enjoy every bit of it, even sometimes when it's a little rougher and it doesn't go as smooth, and maybe some of you get upset at me. I know you don't mean it. There you go. That's what I was waiting for. There you go. At least one is clapping for me. Good. So, yeah, there's opportunities. Yes, I get it. If you make food for somebody 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, you're bound to make a mistake. Ask your husband or your wife, whoever is doing the cooking. I'm pretty sure there were some, well, wife, you don't have to cook that one again. Or, hey, husband, that was not one of your best things. I know because my wife is school-trained chef. She has a degree in culinary. Not everything she cooks. Not everything she cooks is culinarian. I can tell you that. But I'm okay with that because I know the next meal is that much better. So, with that being said, before I go into more, I would like to introduce my staff that is sitting here shaking like crazy. So please welcome them and make them feel like, no worries, you can talk, it's okay. So, right? It's a piece of cake. Who wants to get up first? Look how they are all raising their hands. So DC, our new executive chef, taking over for Jose, that's been here forever, right? But Jose moved on. DC has been with us, and DC, go ahead. Got it. You got this. Right. You got this. Don't worry about it. Don't bite.
All right. Well, good morning. My name is Donald Wayne Cunningham, and I am the new executive chef here at the Army Resident Community. Yeah. I've got similar stories, kind of to Achim, but they're not all the same. What I do want to say is, looking back at my life, I had a passion for food way before I knew what passion was for food. It started way back at Grandma's and Grandpa's house. And yes, I said Grandma's house first. There were 8 of us kids in my family, and we would always go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and the younger kids like myself would pick peas and collard greens, but that was all fun. I thought that was just fun. I had no idea that was actually work. Yeah. As we got older, we got to do things like chase the chickens around the yard and bring them back to Grandma. She made the best chicken and dumplings out of those chickens. As I got older, and it got to be a little bit more exciting. A little more. I graduated.
Well, yeah,
oh,
somehow. No. He doesn't have slides.
This
is just moving on its own. like our ghost was sitting up there.
You want me to shut it?
I'm going to go ahead and go to the last picture. Because that's my last one.
Maybe I'll move this around. All right. Okay, years passed and the kitchen became more of the place where my mom and I were bonded. That's where I learned real flavor. We made classic dishes like egg on the goldenrod, goulash, and fried chicken, collard greens, all the things that, the Cunningham family enjoyed the most. Those early days shaped me, and eventually the love of food led me to culinary school. There was fortunate to land in an incredible job, my externship at the Kentucky Derby, where I fell in love with food. I worked on Millionaire's Mile, in desserts, in pastries, which was not what I wanted to do, but it was what I was chosen to do. My very first table was Patti LaBelle, Mary J. Blige, and Usher. Talking about pressure, right? I was hooked after that. I was completely hooked. I was working for Levy at that time, and I wanted to come home. And if I wanted to come home, my choices that time were Dallas, Houston, or San Antonio. Well, I already knew that I was my mom's favorite child, and I knew that, and everybody knew that. So I wanted to solidify that, and I came to the San Antonio Spurs, her favorite team. And that's where I was for 10 years, working with the Spurs, working with the administration, working with the players, working with the staff, and I learned a lot, a tremendous amount. When our season was over, we were always on the road. That's when I got to work with the U.S. Open in tennis. I worked with a famous chef called Tony Montuano. He was the original chef from Spiaggia in Chicago on the Millionaire Row. He taught me integrity in food, integrity in work. One time, he called me from his plane because I cut the bread too early. He called me from the plane and says, "Do not mess with my integrity." And all I was thinking, I have 500 tickets I need to get out. I need that bread cut. He says, "You cut that bread when the bread needs to be cut for that dish." I said, "Chef, why do I need to cut the bread when they order it?" He says, "You cut that bread ahead of time, it starts soaking up the moisture. By the time you get that tomato on it, by the time you get the cheese on it, by the time you get the ham on it, it is already a soggy mess, and the whole dish is lost in 30 seconds. Blew my mind. But it changed the way I thought about food. As the years went on, I left Levy, and I decided I needed to do something different. I needed to find my passion for the food that I was cooking, and I needed to get it on a more personal level. In the arena, you feed thousands and thousands of people. You see them maybe once or twice. I wanted something a little bit more. That's how I ended up at the Texas A&M, taking over their athletics program. So all of you Aggies out there, giggle. Giggle. Yeah. I did that for 5 years. That was an intense job. Feeding a 300-pound lineman and a 200-pound swimmer. It was incredible to learn the diversity between the two and to learn the diet spreads between all these folks. But eventually I needed more. I needed to learn more. So I went to residential dining, thinking I had the skills to do that job. But 5,000 people in your face every day, all day, and students, it was a much tasking job. So like them, I was there in College Station, and Mom said, "I want to go home." So it no longer became about the job. It became about Mom and what Mom wanted to do, because she's the one who led me on the path and gave me to my greatness. So the Texas A&M program decided, we're going to send you to Texas A&M San Antonio. We're going to keep you. And that's how I ended back in San Antonio. But the Palace for Kids was not what I wanted to do anymore. And that's when I ran back into Achim. And he says, "Come on over, I want to show you something." And I came to the Ark. The first day that I came in, I sat with he and Jose, and I looked at these two guys like, what is going on? They have lost their minds. There's nothing they're doing anymore. They were so relaxed and so chilled. What's going on? And I walked on this place, and it was gorgeous. All this place was, I just could not believe that all this was in between these four walls, inside this city that I've been in. And at the end of the interview, he said, if you go home at the end of the day and you are stressed out, you did it to yourself. There's absolutely nothing stressful about this job. So, that's what he said. Yeah. So I took him at his word. I came on in. I wrote my first menu. I was very happy about that first menu. After my first dinner service, I was not as confident anymore. I met a few folks that night, and they proceeded to let me know how they felt, and I took it, and we went on, and we went on. And we wrote another menu, and it got better, but it was still not the right menu. But it was in the right direction where I wanted to go. I wanted to get back out. I wanted to see how you felt about the meal. I wanted to cook for you. I wanted to cook for you. I didn't want to cook for 5,000 people. I wanted to cook for a single person. And that became my goal, to cook single meals for 5 to 10 to 20 to 200 people to experience food again. The love that I had for food, that I found for food back at Grandma's and Mama's house. This has been the greatest experience of my life, getting to work here at the Ark. I should have found this job 10, 20 years ago. It would have saved me a whole lot of heartache. Would have saved me 2 relationships. So I do appreciate the opportunity to be here at the Ark. Thank you.
Wow. Talking about passion, right? I'm sitting there laughing and at the same time having to wipe tears from my eyes. So thanks, DC. Who wants to be next? Don't all scream at the same time. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. No, I got this.
Let me get this out the way.
Shane, for all that you don't know, Shane.
And I'm not DC, so I'm going to give him back his note. All right, so hi, welcome, hello, good morning. As you all know, and I'm not, I guess, not all of you. As most of you know, my name is Shane Culver. I'm currently the catering manager. I've been here for almost 6 years. I grew up in Las Vegas, and it was an interesting place to start my life, apparently, because when you tell people you're from Las Vegas, they don't believe you. It doesn't matter. Although I did find out that if you ever want to get out of jury duty, you tell them that you're from Las Vegas, and they will drop you. Easy stuff. So I didn't know that, but I've been there twice, and they get as far as, hey, where are you from? I say Las Vegas. They say, thank you very much. And they move on. So it works. I was a very active kid growing up in Las Vegas. I had no time to myself. I took part in activities like gymnastics, karate, dance, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. I even played the trumpet and the guitar poorly for a little while. And I was always an active kid. I was always busy. I was actually in much better shape than I am now, which was helpful. I lost my place. I've always enjoyed the movies, the theater, the classical music. I had a huge collection when I was a kid. I've always enjoyed art. I get that from my dad. My dad used to work for Walt Disney. If you're familiar with the original Jungle Book, he designed the snake. But he didn't like working for Disney because everything you drew was theirs. Doesn't matter, cocktail napkin, whatever, it's theirs. So he moved on and became a chef, oddly enough. And he gave me great advice. Don't ever get in involved and into restaurants. Which he was adamant about. He truly believed that was a rotten place to be. And I, of course, disagreed because in my head it was like, hey, if I know how to work in a restaurant, I'll always have work. And I had my point, he had his point, and we're going to call it a draw. Officially, I got into the hospitality business when I was 16 years old. Unofficial, well, it was still official, but I had my first cooking experience on a field trip in school where I cooked my first Big Mac at McDonald's when I was 15 and swore to myself I will never cook again. And I lied to myself basically along the way because when I got out of high school, I moved to a little town in Nevada called Mesquite. It's just a little town. I had 3 major places to eat, and I worked at one of them. I learned how to be a cook, a dishwasher, a waiter, all at the same time because I was graveyard. That was me. It didn't matter. But I did learn from our kitchen manager, who was named, we called Uncle Jesse. I don't know if it's because he looked like the Dukes of Hazzard guy or if because that's just he was somebody's uncle. I don't know. But from there I moved around. I went to Utah. I went to Parowan, Utah, and worked a ski season at the Bryanette Hotel. Found out I hated Utah. No offense to people from Utah. But in Utah, the day we decided to leave was the day we went to do laundry at 6 o'clock at night, and the coin-operated laundromat was closed and locked and lights out, and we just, being from Vegas, didn't understand that. So we booked our trip back home. Went back home. I got into construction for a little while. Found that interesting, but it didn't pay the bills. And from there, I got back into cooking. Oddly enough, even though my dad told me I shouldn't be in it, I did it anyway. And as far as my work career goes, I always seem to just keep doing more. I don't know why, it's just something I do. But I start as a waiter, or I start as a cook, or I start as a host, or I start as a dishwasher, and I keep working up until I get to the top. And then I go somewhere else and start over. I don't know why I do that either. But the short version, in restaurants, in the hospitality business, I've done everything. I've been a host, been a dishwasher, been a cook, a line cook, lead cook. I've been a waiter, a head waiter. I've been a trainer. I've been an opener of chains as a cook and would teach new cooks how to cook their menu. I've been a kitchen manager, ran a country club, as well as been a restaurant manager in a casino in Las Vegas. So I'm a well-rounded person. I'm also, for the most part, an antisocial person. I just am. But I hide it well sometimes. Like I said, I can, when I know you, like you all were watching us before we started, and we were over here laughing, having a good old time, because I'm comfortable with that. I'm not uncomfortable now, but this is not my first choice of how to spend my morning. So there you have it. Okay. Anyway, when DC was talking, he reminded me of what Achim told me when I took this job. Because he said, oh, no, stress-free. When I got pitched this job, I was in Las Vegas working as a bartender. Achim's son, Christoph, and I had become friends. We were ex-business partners, and so we had an open line of communication. And I heard of an opening here at the Ark. I heard it like through the grapevine, and Achim called me, and he's like, hey, I got this position. He goes, it'll run itself. Your job will be to walk around and get to know the residents. And the servers will take care of everything else. You will be like a glorified host. Do you remember that conversation?
No.
So, if you all remember and were here 6 years ago, you remember the rocky start I had. And that's okay. We got through it. We went on. But I definitely did not get what I was promised. So that's my leverage to get an annual raise from my boss. Anyway, so I have learned a lot from every manager I've had. I've learned a lot from owners that I've worked for. I've learned a lot from the people I've waited on. You were picking out your greatest people that you waited on or cooked for and whatnot. When I was in Vegas, I actually waited on Penn Teller and Lance Burton in one evening, same table. That was an experience because they came up and they ordered like I wish some of you would. And that's bring us an appetizer or so. And that was it. That was the direction. That was all. And so I got them what I thought they liked, and I took it out, and they ate it, and they had a great evening. And Lance Burton is cheap. When it came to the end of the evening, I much preferred Penn or Teller tip me, but oh well. Aside from that, they were all very happy for it. But the experience itself was something unique. Same restaurant, different time. There was a food critic that came in at lunch, all right? And the restaurant I'm talking about, unfortunately, like your restaurant at 9/11, took a hit and is no longer there. But this food critic came in, and I was the lead server. So my section was on this side of the restaurant, and the food critic was over there. But the owner, John, he was like, I need you to take care of this guy. He's a food critic. And I got quoted in the local paper as saying, don't worry, the food critic goes, I'm worried about eating here because it's an Italian restaurant and people get killed in Italian restaurants. And I got quoted as saying, don't worry, nobody gets killed at lunch. So... But that's just who I am. I think very quickly. I am people used to call me a smart beep, but I prefer to say I have a sardonic wit. It basically means the same thing. But I do try and do the very best job I can. I do try and adapt from things that don't go well. And I do try and coach my team to look out for the things that are going to make little differences for all of you. And I hope that you will allow to give me feedback, give us feedback, and allow us the opportunity to get better for you. So it has been a lot of fun being here. Not today, but I mean in general. And I do like being here. And I hope that I will continue to be here for quite some time. Thank you.
This is the first time I noticed that Shane can be very long-winded. That does not normally happen. It's very short. Yes, no. Okay. I'm trying to speed this up so we don't go over the length of time, but who wants to be next? And Crystal is looking at me like, I want to be next! Come on, girl. Come on. You got this.
Mine is not as long as yours.
There you go. You got
Good
this.
morning.
You got it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not a public speaker. I actually was, how long did it take me to type this up? Like maybe 30 seconds? But my name is Crystal Amadatis. I am the Assistant Director of Operations. I've actually been here for about 12 years now, since January. I got promoted to the assistant director 3 years ago, and I am in charge of the Bluebonnet. So if y'all have any questions or comments, please let us know because we strive to make the community better as far as the food aspect goes. And that's it.
When she says she's short, she is short. Oh my God, I have no idea. What else do you do? Okay, well, that was quick. Okay, anybody else that fast? Yeah? Jason said he is. So come on, Jason. I might keep this under an hour, right? Because if they are that short.
Y'all know me by Jason. I'm too loud. All right. So, what is it? I was born in Houston, Texas. Moved when I was 5. Moved to Boston. So, lived there all my childhood years. Moved there. Moved here in 2000 when I graduated high school. So I started food service in 2000. 2008, I started working at the Ark. In 2017, I moved to Morrison. And I worked in the bistro, main kitchen, healthcare. So I've been here a lot. Try to make the best foods I can for you guys. So that's the best I can say.
And for the ones that were over at Lakeside on Valentine's Day, and if you all liked it, that was Jason right there. Okay, so if you all enjoyed it, oh, and the new Sunday brunches, it's all Jason, right? So just, he's too modest, he doesn't tell everything, so maybe I need to fill in the blanks. Okay, who else is next? Come on. Arlie? You gonna be next? Okay, Juvie, the person that is so nervous that she was shaking as she was writing her own bio. Literally shaking, and I'm not making it any easier.
Well, I'm proud to say I have 5 sisters and they're teachers. And I'm not, I said I don't want to be a teacher because I'm really a nervous person. I can't. But my name is Juvie Marshall. I have been in the Ark for 11 years, and I started as a waitress and worked my way up as in the dining room supervisor and serve now as a, I'm still shaking.
Don't look at me.
As a office manager on the dining services. My responsibilities is including preparing morning reports on sales, labor, and financial managing, menu planning and printing, and the portal posting. So if I made boo-boos in the portal, please don't call Achim, just at least call me so I don't get in trouble. And I'm assisting residents with catering and future bookings and helping billing. I'm sorry. You see?
What happened?
Concerns even in my administrative role, I still step in to serve whenever the team is short-staffed in the Bluebonnet. I was born on September 9, 1989 in the Philippines. I'm the 5th of 9 children. English is my 3rd language. Well, I think it's getting better. My English is getting better, right? Yeah. Okay. I grew up in a poverty where responsibility came before my childhood. My mother was a food vendor who woke up before dawn each day, and my father worked house to house as a pest control. From a young age, I helped clean, cook, and prepare for school in the afternoons. We didn't have much, but we learned to share and to understand the sacrifices. I became a mother at a young age to my 2 sons. I have a 17-year-old and a 13 years old. Their name is Evo and George. Motherhood brought love and purpose, but also great challenges. With little support, I faced fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty. What kept me going was my faith in God and deep sense of responsibility to my children. Today, everything I do is driven by desire to give them a life with more stability, opportunity, and dignity that the one I grew up with. Thank you.
Oh, I can keep that.
Wow. See, they come from everywhere, right? And we brought them all together right here to help serve you. And without making this any longer, here's Arlie.
Good morning. It's good to see everybody today. My name is Arlie or Arlena. I'll use both names at any given time. I'm one person. And I'm learning today that most of our team is a comedian. So a lot of laughs today. So as everybody was kind of speaking about their history, I was going to start from my college career onward. But I understand the importance of our childhood and how that influences us as an individual and as a professional. And so I'll kind of give a little bit of back history of kind of what established my interest in nutrition. I feel like it was maybe my second year, I had an interview with Joe Hip and one individual, maybe it was it you, Carol? Maybe it was somebody else. I can't remember, but I sat in a car and had an interview for the Eagle. So I actually have that posted in my office right now. But I had an eating disorder when I was during the pubescent times. High school, middle school could be harsh for all of us. People are not so nice, and we learn that, but we grow through that. So I had anorexia when I was in 6th grade, lasted a couple years. For kind of, I guess an idea, I went from 130 pounds to 72 pounds. So I went through treatment, and I had to establish my own personal relationship with food. It took a good couple years, but now I am stronger than ever. I say I eat all things, but not all at once. So I am a good advocate for nutrition. Through that time of middle school, high school, I was kind of that all-accepting, welcoming person. I created small groups for new individuals that would join our school, individuals that felt like outcasts. I was that person for them. I created groups for those who also struggled with eating disorders themselves, because I identified the need. So I worked with our school nurse of kind of building those relationships with others and with my peers. My mother and my father both have no culinary background, but they were both great home cooks. So building that relationship myself with food, we kind of took it as a family approach, even though my family was a little divided, but we would emphasize the importance of family meals. So my dad and I would get into the kitchen. He would say, okay, what are we grabbing from H-E-B today? That was one thing he never limited, was food. So we got to get, creative items. I would pick recipes that we would try that week, and we would cook something together, eat it together, and enjoy it together. So that was great. It was just kind of my dad and I growing up. My brother was in the Air Force, so it was a lot of dad and I time. And my brother, unfortunately, didn't get to be there at that time for me. But my brother is Matthew Jackson. He works here today, and he's my favorite person. So that was kind of my high school and growing as an individual. So alongside helping my peers, I also did have other groups. I was a tutor, a mentor for special needs children, often those with ADD. And I would tutor, I would foster animals during that time as well. And then when I got into my college career, I graduated from UTSA with my bachelor's and my master's in dietetic studies. But during that time of growing myself within my career, I did also foster animals. I had mentor groups. I did my own geriatric caregiving in home, so I was kind of a caretaker. The one couple families that I had the opportunity to be with end of life, it was very hard for me, and because I did everything from cooking, shopping, bathing, transferring, all those good things. I did move to children, so I did nannying after that. But then I fell in love with both pediatric and geriatric, so I ended up doing both at the same time. So one day I was with a child, the other day I was with a geriatric family taking care of their needs. So I did end up graduating with that master's. This was actually my first job. So I sat with, well, actually, it was kind of a funny story. I'm actively studying for my exam. I'm a one-track mind. I have to do one thing before moving on to the next. So I didn't start a job until I had passed that exam. But once I passed, I started applying for jobs. First job was the eating disorder clinic. I totally bombed that interview. I'm a nervous person too, but I'm growing through it. So second interview was with Achim. And it ended up being, yeah. So it was great that I bombed that first one. But here I am today, and I still have influence on the lives of others who are going through those challenges. But my application actually went to, or I guess the email that I had gotten from Ian went to my junk mail. So I was waiting for this opportunity. I was following up what's going on. So then I had a very late night interview via, it was a Teams call or something. Are you still interested in this position? We haven't heard from you. And so I'm scavenging through my inbox and email, and I had missed the email. It was in my junk email. But I'm so grateful that we had those individuals following up because I was a suitable candidate for that position. So we had the phone interview late at night. On my birthday, so I take it as a birthday gift. And then we had the in-person interview, and it was kind of more of a tour. I got to meet and greet many individuals of our IDT and our management team. Achim, so, I like to do little compassionate things here and there, so when I had come into the office to interview, I brought Achim some baked it was chickpea peanut butter blondies, and black bean brownies. So I kind of gave it to him, and I said, please hire me. I'm a great candidate. And knowing Achim, he always says he is a yes person. And coincidentally, I wore my special socks that day. I took my foot out of my shoe, and I said, I'm wearing my yes socks today. After he went into the hole, I'm a yes person. So I knew, at that moment that this is definitely, I knew way before, but that was the moment I was like, okay, I'm a great fit for this community, hopefully, Achim. So I'm here, and I know I've spoken many separate times. I've had my own town hall, which was a great opportunity. I spoke last year in this meeting, and then teaching kitchens. I get to interact with many of you for those wellness engagements. I am here for you, for the community. My role here specifically is the healthcare registered dietitian or nutrition care manager. I have a very dynamic role. So I manage 27 dietary aids, and then I am a clinical dietitian. So it's a lot to balance, and I'm kind of that middleman between two very distinct teams. So I have one of my bosses behind me, Achim, and then I have Robert, our great healthcare administrator over here, who just joined our team. So I work very closely with dining service management and our interdisciplinary team. I interact a lot during care conferences. I see many of you in the hallways, or of course those wellness engagements. I have a couple of accolades. It's been a maybe quiet, well, not quiet. I feel like every moment is busy, but I had a couple accolades a couple years ago, the Puree with Purpose competition. I know I forgot to mention it last time, and I know Achim will remind me. So that was a big thing. I was with a lot of chefs, chef energy, and me, the little dietitian. I'm not an organized or a clean cook, so my mise en place is not the best. So I went with Chef Javi, who can't be here today, but he taught me all about mise en place. So hopefully I'm a little bit more organized in the kitchen. But it was almost like a cooking show. They were yelling at us 10 minutes, gotta come out hot sort of thing. So it was a great experience. And then that year I did win Dietitian of the Year. And then I was nominated for Women in Culinary. So that was a busy year a couple years ago. I do have a couple partnerships, and you'll see a group of students come around next month. And then we've seen a couple students at a time rotate with me, and they've actually hosted their own nutrition events. I have partnerships with the Army Baylor Master's Program in Nutrition, and then the UTSA Master's Program in Nutrition. Those are the main two schools that I partner with, and I just signed a contract yesterday for a new partnership. The name escapes me. I was looking through my emails, but it's supporting young women in high school who are exploring careers. And so I get that first student rotate with me next year. So that will be fun having a high schooler with me. And then I'll try to find opportunities so you can kind of meet and greet as well. I'm trying to think of like my resume and how I have things. But I guess that's pretty much it. I'm here, doing that compassionate nutrition care for healthcare. I love, being at the bedside with the resident, caretaking, lots of documentation to make sure we're survey ready, documenting every need, and then I'm here for you and independent living with those wellness activities. But if there's anything that I can do for you, even if it's a question, even if it's navigating the busy nutrition world, because I know that changes daily, give me a call. Come find me in healthcare. But that's it. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to speed this up. I have Sal next.
I left everything.
Yeah, that's okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Salvador Morales, but everybody knows me as Sal. Obviously, I'm the dining services manager. I've won't waste a lot of your time with my history, but I'm now 47 years old. I've been in the food industry for 27 years, 29 years. I started when I was 18. I am now in charge of, right now, the Water's Edge restaurant. I also help with the responsibilities in the Liberty Market. As all of you know, I have a very good knowledge of dining services, I should say. I've done it for a long time. Any and every time that you guys need anything, I try to do my best to try to resolve issues or help out whenever I can. Like I said, a little bit about my background. I'm a big tennis fan. Like Achim had mentioned, I also worked for Levy, so I was able to do Kentucky Derby. I was able to do the U.S. Open. I was able to do the Indy 500. I was able to do the Masters in Augusta, Georgia. So I had a lot of great opportunities to travel to really learn a lot from a lot of different chefs, a lot of different managers as far as dining services. And so I try to bring that here to you guys. So if you guys need anything from me, like I said, I'm always available. I'm always around. And thank you.
Again, one thing that is in common, right? Levy. The word Levy comes up. Come on, Joe. The newest on the block.
Starting out.
Convince him this morning that he has.
Yeah, he did. My passion came from necessity. I'm number 8 out of 11 children, and in my parents' household, if you didn't cook, you didn't eat. And it was something that I was good at. So right out of high school, I started cooking. I liked it, grew in it. 10 years out of high school, I went to culinary school, where I met my wife. And who, a year after culinary school, we opened our own restaurant. And for some of the important people that we cooked for, and still to this day, I own copyrights and in the state of Wisconsin for the coined phrase souvenir cafe. My children spent summers in the office, in the restaurant. And my greatest success is, I like to thank my children. Speaking of which, Arlena talked about UTSA. One of my daughters is currently in the master's program, and some of you have met her. And she will be here in less than a month. And currently, she's the reason that I am here at the Ark. Yeah, she did an internship here with Arlena. She'll be back to finish her rotation here. My kids they best describe me. I instill in my kids I measure my success on my kids being better and more than I am. I have a son that's in the Navy who has landed Air Force One as an air traffic controller, who has met the president of the Philippines, and Manny Pacquiao. He says Manny Pacquiao is more important in the Philippines than the president. I have a son that operates maintenance down in the valley on the turbines. I have a daughter who's in Minnesota right now, who's arena EMT. She takes care of injured players. And I started cooking right after culinary school. I was instructor's aide who taught pregnant and teen moms life skills, which transferred into teaching homeless kids life skills in order to get jobs to combat homelessness. Every year we fed 400 homeless kids, or kids that would come out. We call it Night on the Streets. Every night or once a year, these kids would come in and they would sleep in cardboard boxes on arena parking lots to combat homelessness. So we did food for those kids. And currently today, I serve you guys, which I started with teens at Trinity University. Transferred from there to over here through Compass, Levy. Compass is the parent company. Levy, Morrison, Wolfgang Park. We're all connected. And I do what I like, and sometimes I get paid for it. So, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Adam, come on. He is what makes us work. Without Adam, there would be no food.
Yes. And we have chocolate ice cream in the Liberty Market. So, my name's Adam Strother. I'm the purchasing manager for Morrison and here at the Ark. What a lot of people don't know is that I've been here for the last 23 years, the man behind the scenes. I worked with the Ark for 19 years, and I had the privilege to join this team when Morrison came in, which gave me opportunities to get supplies that we needed that outside the scope of what we were doing before, when it was just a smaller venue. When we had one high-rise restaurant, we had opened up to a bistro where a tennis court used to be. We opened up an entire lakeside, another assisted living across the street. And it's my job here to source all of those supplies to every area. I have a very small team that does that. We bring them into this one location and get them to where they need to be. It's a very large scope, and we're learning a lot every day. You know, we try to strive for progress and not perfection, you know, because that's almost impossible to do. The market has been a little bit of a challenge. I know I get a lot of feedback about that, but I'm always open to hear it. I work along with Sal and his team to try to get what we need, and there's always going to be those little supply issues. That's what I do here, but I guess we're taking it all the way back. We'll make it short and sweet. How I got here, I was actually a military brat, born in Nuremberg, Germany, and I was fortunate enough to get to travel around the world. You know, my mother and my father separated, and I got to move with both of them. So before I was even in high school, I got to live in Guam, Hawaii, all over Germany, Kaiserslautern, of course, Nuremberg, Pirmesens, places you've all mostly been to all over. And after that, I ended up back here in Texas as a teenager, where my parents decided to retire at. Got into food service temporarily, then got that that 2-year PCS itch where I needed to just get out of town. You know, it's like, I was here long enough. What am I going to do with my life as a young kid? So I ended up joining the Air Force. So I spent 6 years working on C-130s. I was fortunate enough wanting to go to another place of the world that I hadn't been, which was Asia. I got to go to Okinawa. So I spent many years at Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, working on planes as an electronics environmental specialist. So that was a fun time. But after 6 years of that, I wanted to come home. You know, I wanted to find a place to plant my roots, call home. I came back to San Antonio where my brother lived. He's now in Maine because he had enough of the heat. Yeah, he needed, you know. But I came here and I started working at the Ark because it was a close place, and I ended up staying here for all these years because it became home. It became family. This place is kind of designed like a base, like a post, and that's kind of the feeling I got, where it's like I finally felt like there was a place that I belonged. After moving around all over the country, all over the world, this was a place that I wanted to call quits. So I've been here for the last 23 years, and thank you for making this feel like home.
So last but not least, Pasquale. And General said he's going to dance up here.
Alrighty, I got a little notes here. First off, good morning, everyone. So, a little bit about me. Yes, my name's Pasquale. I'm the pastry chef here at the Army Residence Community. I've been here for about, thank you. I've been here for about 3 years now, give or take. I oversee salads and desserts specifically for the entire ARC, pretty much. For healthcare, assisted living, caterings, the restaurants that we have here as well, Blue Bonnet, Water's Edge. Healthcare again, why not? Let's do it all of the above. And I assist kind of overall the entire kitchen, in the facility itself. Originally, I'm from El Paso, Texas, where I actually gained my culinary arts degree. I moved to San Antonio to attend the Culinary Institute of America, which is over there in the Pearl. And from there, I kind of just stayed here because, I wanted to turn San Antonio into my home. And that's where I got my baking and pastry arts degree. I actually worked at Hotel Emma, which is a 2 Michelin key, 5-diamond hotel luxury resort. Yes, I know it sounds real fancy. So I have a background in luxury itself. And why am I here? A lot of times that's what I first got asked when I was here. They told me that it was a downgrade. Why am I going and working with residents? But the reality is I view it more as I'm giving back to y'all in a way. I like to see a lot of times that I feel that the senior living is kind of a forgotten sort of place. Once people kind of retire, they have their own lives. Your kids have their own lives, and we don't always get those opportunities to have luxury, which is why I kind of wanted to be able to go and bring that to you, which is why I'm here and why kind of the whole the whole reason why I actually got started here. Achim specifically, when I got interviewed, he went and told me he wanted to go and create a pastry department. He wanted to go and add one more extra step from everything else he's already created from this whole time. And now I'm here because he had a vision, like I said, to go and create that department, and he went ahead and allowed me to go and create the department at 23 years old. I know it's really surprising when they went ahead and did that now. And I know I don't have a full background from everyone because I've only been able to work legally for about 10 years. So, so no, I don't have a long upbringing of all of my background, so it's short and sweet. And kind of my philosophy behind cooking is I just want to cook I like to say I cook good food for good people. And that's the real reason why I came into here. I want to be able to go and share my art, be able to go and share my passion. And overall, like I said, just go and hang out with y'all. I really do enjoy that. One of the other things that I like to do, which is a monthly thing, is I go and do teaching kitchens with Arlena. We kind of tag team along. We've grown into this real big thing that we're doing it monthly. And like I said, it's just my time to be able to go and show a little bit, showcase myself, and be able to go and give back to y'all a little bit more. One more thing is just thank y'all for allowing me to continue to provide my arts and be able to go and share this with the community. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks. So, The slide has been up the entire time for a reason. I don't know if anybody has been reading it, but live a fulfilling life. My entire team is trying to do that, to live a life that is fulfilling to you all, to help everybody, this is not a job for them. This is a calling. And I think you heard it when they were speaking from their heart and from their soul. Family? Well, you are my family. I don't have a mom and dad anymore, but you are my family. For some of you, you go ahead and think, oh my God, I don't want to hear it. But it's from the bottom of my heart, it is really that. Serving others, we all here to serve you. That is our mission. It is from the heart, and that's what we do because we love doing it. And faith is because I have a lot of it, and I'm sorry. Most of you know, and I don't want to end this way, but most of you know that for 14 months I've been battling cancer. And for the ones that don't, yes, I am. But it doesn't make a difference. I'm here because I enjoy being here. This is my calling, and I love being here to help you and make your life better. And if you all have any questions for me or for my team, we're here for you. And with that, I open anybody's question. Does anybody want? Dare, Joe. Does anybody have any questions? No? Oh my God. No. Yeah.
My foot's not hurt today, so I can walk around.
I would like to thank you for Saturday's surf and turf. My meal was excellent. My steak was perfect. My lobster was wonderful. Everything was wonderful. The dessert. I love savory, but the dessert was wonderful. So thank you for making Valentine's Day a special one for me and Wilbert. Thank you.
I know I went over my hour, but then I have a bigger team. But if anybody has any questions, we'll hang out back here. You can come straight up and talk to us in person if you'd like to. But thanks for allowing us to go ahead and share our story.